This is Sweet June 2010. I'm back um, doing my part two to the power of the tongue and how words can really damage people. And I think, like I say, as Christians, if you're trying to have a relationship with God, and even if you're not, I mean, if you, I know me, I don't like to hurt people's feelings. I don't like to say things to hurt people's feelings. Um, and the Bible says, "Do unto others as you want others to do unto you." And I know I always try to think in those terms that, well, I wouldn't want people saying certain things to me, so I try not to say those things to other people. And I know we're all human and we're imperfect, and sometimes we might let something slip out or say something negative about somebody that we probably shouldn't have said, but we didn't mean to say or whatever. But particularly, our loved ones and, and family members and, our mates, and got to be really, really careful. You know, there's married people that have gotten a divorce because, just, getting cut and getting below the belt, saying stuff that hurtful to each other. You know, men saying the husband saying hurtful things to the wife saying hurtful things to the husband, and it has been the cause of some people to divorce, believe it or not. And so that's just how powerful the tongue can be. That it could lead to divorce. Um, with children, we have to be careful how we're talking to our children. I know my son, and I'm learning a lot about the male psyche through raising sons. I got two sons, and learning a lot about the male psyche. That it just seems like boys are a little bit more sensitive than girls. And I know my youngest, he's very sensitive, and so I have to be careful of sometimes of the way I word things. Sometimes the way you word something can be hurtful. I mean, I could say something that may not necessarily be what I said it, but it could be how I said it. Sometimes it's the tone that you're using. If you're not using the right tone, that could be hurtful. Uh, and sometimes I'll say something, and I don't perceive it as being hurtful, but he perceives it as being hurtful. And so I have to apologize. And so, uh, and say with my oldest, sometimes my oldest says I'm yelling at him, but I'm like, well, gee, I didn't feel like I was yelling at you. But he perceived it as me yelling at him. So, even with our children, we have to be very, very careful of some of the things that we're saying, to our children, especially when they're growing up and they're young and they're very impressionable. You don't want to scar them for life or anything and say something to them that will scar them for the rest of their life, because that can happen. You can say something to a child that could possibly scar them for the rest of their life. It could lower their self-esteem or whatever. And so, um, it's the best thing is just when you're raising kids is to stay positive. Try to keep it positive and say positive things to them all the time and encourage them. And that's not always easy to do. Especially if you may see some negative things in that child, but then you have to look for the positive. And so, um, I know that when children are going to school, there's a big issue now with the bullying situation. And that includes verbal, you know, calling people names. And I know, I think it was in the news some time ago, a young lady was being bullied on, people are being bullied on the computer now, like cyberbullying. People were saying negative things about her on Facebook or something like that, and she winded up committing suicide. So it was really, really, uh, oh my God, it was really detrimental. You know, words is just that powerful. You know, young person is going to school and people are saying negative things about them. Maybe this student is poor, this child is poor, and they might not be able to afford the fashionable clothes, some of the fashionable clothes that are out, and the kids talk about them, you know, and that could cause emotional scars for life. You know, there's a lot of people walking around that still carrying stuff from what people said to them way back in the day, way back when they was in school. So it's words are so powerful. They really are. Um, like I was talking about the weight issue with women. Um, you know, talking about somebody's weight, and do you know if you comment on a woman's weight, and a woman is really, really sensitive about her weight, and her self esteem is really low, it can cause her to have an eating disorder. You know, that could be one of the causes of eating disorders, and that could kill her. So words could kill a person. You know, words can kill you. I mean, people don't realize how serious it really is, but this is the reason why I put it on here, because I just think it's a serious issue. It's very serious. You know, I had a situation at my house. Uh, it I had an incident happen at my house. It was a um, drive-by shooting type situation, where my son's friend got shot, at my house, and I was very devastated. Um, and I had a family member. Um, it was this The statement was very hurtful to me. It took me a long time to get past it. You know, a family member. It come to find out it had nothing to do with me or my son. It was actually his friend. It was somebody that was targeting his friend, and his friend happened to be over here, and that's how it happened. And I had a family member that said something that was very hurtful to me. Um, he was suggesting that I wasn't raising my kids right because of this incident that happened at my house. And come to find out, it had nothing to do with me, and it had nothing to do with my son. But it was his friend that they were targeting. He just happened to be over my house that day. So that was a very hurtful statement. It was very hurtful to me, and it took me a long time to get over it. A long time. I was very angry with him because I figured, what right does he have to say that? So um, I was very angry, and I was very hurt. And it took me a long time to get past it. So see, words are very powerful. It's very, very, very powerful. Um, it's like if a woman gets sexually assaulted, and then they somehow is suggested, they're asking her, well, what was you wearing, or did you know the person, blaming the victim type situation. She's already traumatized because she's been raped, and now you're trying to say it's her fault by saying she wasn't dressing right, or maybe she did something to cause the rape. That is very insensitive. It could cause that woman to commit suicide. It really could. So it's just, these are some examples that I'm giving that, you know um, we have to be so careful. Oh my God, we have to be so careful. Of what we say. And if you like somebody, and that person doesn't really like you, and they say something to you, or you say something to them, vice versa, it could cause emotional scars for a long time. So we just have to really, really, really be careful of the things that we're saying to people. I mean, very careful. I mean, I try to be very, very mindful of what I say to people. Um, because what you're saying to that person, it could hurt them. And they may never recover from what you said. They may never get over it. And you'll be thinking, okay, why come they're not over it? Well, they may never get over it. It may hurt them so bad that they may never get over it, especially if it's particularly if it's coming from a family member. If it's coming from a parent or a sibling or something like that, somebody that's supposed to really love you, and they say something very hurtful to you, you may never get over it. It's just like some of the celebrities. If they gain so much as 1 pound, it's in the cover on the cover of the tabloids. This is ridiculous, you know, and it's very hurtful. Or sometimes things are put in newspapers and things that's not even true about them. I know Kim Kardashian went and got an X-ray of her butt to prove to everybody that was real, because everybody was saying it wasn't real. Her butt wasn't real. This is ridiculous. She shouldn't even have had to do anything like that. She shouldn't even have had to done that. I was watching the Kardashians and I seen the episode where she got an X-ray of her butt to prove that it was real. That's ridiculous, because everybody was saying that she had a butt implants and her butt wasn't real. It's ridiculous. It's just the way she's built. And so everybody assumed that she, had butt implants. She had to get an X-ray. She didn't have to, but she did, to prove that her butt was real. So see, that was really hurtful to her. And that just shows you how powerful words really are. That even with celebrities are human beings, and they're human beings like the rest of us. They have feelings. It's just that they are in the public eye. They're entertainers and they're in the public eye. But they're human beings like the rest of us, and they have feelings just like the rest of us. So we have to be careful of things that we're saying about celebrities, you know. But a lot of that stuff is put in the papers and stuff to make money. I know all that is about money, and that's a whole different blog. But, it's just, we have to be, my point is that we have to be, there's a lot of power in the tongue, and we have to be very careful of what we say to people. And because we would want people to respect us and not say hurtful things to us, so we have to try not to say hurtful things to other people. And if we do, and that person comes to us and let us know that it was hurtful, then we need to apologize and say, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Because we have to, like the Bible says, do unto others as you want others to do unto you. Okay, till the next time. Thought I'd maybe give you some enlightenment. Hope you marinate on that. Till next time, God bless you. Sweet June 2010.